Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we're diving into a truly groundbreaking milestone for decentralized finance. We are breaking down the launch of Indigo V3. Now, if you've been following the evolution of the Cardano ecosystem at all, you know that capital efficiency and global reach have been huge priorities. Well, V3 is officially live, and it's fundamentally shifting the whole landscape by bringing Cardano's very first non-USD stablecoin markets online. We're going to unpack exactly how this works, the nuts and bolts behind it, and why it's such a massive leap forward for the protocol. Let's get into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Indigo V3 is officially live. And look, this isn't just some basic software update or a quick bug fix. What we're really talking about here is setting the motion for drastically faster market expansion. The protocol has totally leveled up. As we look at the data straight from their launch announcements, you're going to see exactly how these new mechanics are custom-built to scale the ecosystem at a pace we honestly haven't seen before. To cover all this dense DeFi info efficiently, here's our quick roadmap. First up, the dawn of V3. Second, we're going beyond the US dollar. Third, expanding collateral markets. Fourth, we'll hit the peg stability module. And finally, seamless capital movement.
All right, Section 1, the dawn of V3.
This is a massive milestone, marking the arrival of Cardano's first non-USD stablecoin markets. When we look at the core of what this update actually brings, the source material summarizes it perfectly. V3 in motion means new assets, new collateral, and faster market expansion. I really want to emphasize that this isn't just a minor tweak to the user interface, right? It's a foundational expansion of the entire protocol's capabilities. By rolling out completely new asset types and the collateral to back them up, the system is fundamentally widening its net to capture a much broader, truly global market.
Moving on to Section 2, beyond the US dollar.
For the longest time, so much of DeFi has been anchored exclusively to the US dollar. But this update brilliantly illustrates a major shift toward actual global reach. Through Indigo Limitless, the voting process is bringing iJPY, which is pegged to the Japanese yen, and iEUR, pegged to the euro, online as completely new assets. Think about the implications of that for a second. We're no longer limited to just one major world currency. By expanding into the yen and the euro, the protocol is creating truly global, limitless Cardano markets, meaning users from entirely different economic zones can finally jump in using stable assets that reflect their own local economies. Which brings us to Section 3, expanding collateral markets. Now, obviously, you can't just create new assets out of thin air. They have to be backed by something solid. The recent Tranche 2 governance vote successfully passed proposals that essentially act as the critical engine powering these new international assets. Both iJPY and iEUR can now be backed by the NIGHT token, which is an ecosystem asset providing specific yield opportunities, as well as USDCx, bringing the deep liquidity of the popular bridged USDC stablecoin right into the mix. This is governance in action, folks. It's expanding the toolkit and making sure there's robust, approved collateral ready to support minting these new euro and yen assets right out of the gate.
Let's look at Section 4, the peg stability module.
Let's see how this ties into the underlying tech driving all these transactions. If you're newer to the deeper mechanics of DeFi, let's demystify things for a second. The Peg Stability Module, or PSM, is a mechanism allowing users to route supported stable assets to mint iUSD at par without needing a loan. Let me break that down. Previously, to get iUSD, you had to interact with a collateralized debt position, or CDP. You had to lock up your collateral and take out a loan, while the PSM completely eliminates that need. You can simply route an approved stable asset through the module and mint iUSD exactly at par, literally one-to-one directly. It's a total game changer. And to make this powerful new tool work, the Tranche 2 governance also introduced specific new routes for the Peg Stability Module. Users now have access to the iUSD to USDM route and the iUSD to USDA route. By integrating these specific stablecoins, USDM and USDA, the protocol is building highly specific, highly efficient expressways for capital to flow directly into iUSD. Now, what's really interesting about this setup is the sheer relief it brings compared to the pain points of the past. In traditional DeFi, if you wanted to swap one stable asset for another, you typically had to use an automated market maker. And that meant suffering AMM slippage, basically losing a fraction of your value just to make the trade, or you had to deal with the headaches of managing a CDP loan. But with the Indigo V3 PSM, absolutely zero AMM slippage, you mint directly at par, and no CDP is required whatsoever. It is a completely frictionless experience custom designed to protect your capital.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, seamless capital movement.
We've talked a lot about the theory, the new assets, and the tech upgrades. But let's look at the real-world impact happening right this second. Over $1 million? That is the massive milestone of PSM volume that has already been processed since V3 went live. I mean, wow. This isn't just a theoretical upgrade that people might use someday. This proves instant success and overwhelming user demand. Users are already routing over $1 million through these completely slippage-free, loan-free modules. It is an incredible validation of the whole V3 architecture. This quote, straight from the protocol, perfectly sums up the entire upgrade. More collateral, more stablecoin routing, more ways to move capital across Cardano DeFi. So the crucial point is that Indigo V3 isn't just about adding a fancy new button to click. It's about fundamentally better, frictionless access to iUSD and establishing a truly global footprint with new non-USD assets. It's literally setting an entirely new standard for capital efficiency. Which brings us to the ultimate question for you. With these incredible tools now live, how will limitless non-USD stablecoin markets reshape your decentralized trading strategies? Now that you can access the euro and the yen, and now that you can mint iUSD at par with absolutely zero slippage and no loans, how does your approach to DeFi evolve? It's a really fascinating question to ponder as this whole new era of Cardano markets unfolds. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I can't wait to explore the next big leap with you soon.